We are at Media Row, brought to you by Toyota, and we're sitting in our Lazy Boy recliners. Long live the lazy. And I'm joined by the mayor of San Francisco, Daniel Lurie. Mr. Mayor, it's so great to see you.
Thanks for having me. This is a pretty good setup you got here. You got the most comfortable chairs around, I think.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'll give you credit for that. This is your city, your Super Bowl. And you're familiar, obviously, with this whole Super Bowl dynamics. You were the president and CEO of the host committee.
Chair. I was chair. Keith Bruce was our CEO, okay. But I was intimately involved in every detail.
That was Super Bowl 50.
Yes.
What did you learn from that experience? Was there, I mean, you probably don't have enough time to tell us everything you learned, but just what were the dynamics involved, and what were the issues you never could have even imagined?
You know, I think first off, traffic flow, and making sure we were getting people from here down to Levi Stadium. At that time, when we won the bid, you and I were talking just prior that we won it in Boston. We bid in Boston, and then we had only really 2.5 years to prepare new stadium, new traffic patterns. So that was a big logistical challenge that I think we did quite well on. I also think what was different back then was San Francisco was going through some good times, and people didn't. There were some elected officials that badmouthed the city bringing the Super Bowl to San Francisco, and that baffled me. This time around, everyone's been on board. All 11 supervisors, myself. It's been a team effort.
Was it because of that experience 10 years ago that opened some eyes of like what it can do?
I think so. I also think we're coming off a time here in San Francisco where we've had a few really tough years, and people realize, our number one industry is tourism. As much as we want to talk and say that we're the home of AI, which we are, and we have this amazing arts and culture scene, it's tourism that drives our economy. And Super Bowl, there's nothing bigger. We get to show off on the world stage for a week. 12,000 credentialed media here, and it's just a great commercial for our city.
And what does it do for the economy?
We're estimating, or the Zaleen at the host committee is estimating around $440 million of economic impact this week alone, just in our city. Now, but what I'll say is, it's the lasting impact of the game. It's what is left behind, which is our good vibes so far, safe, clean streets, and people taking another look at our city after a few years of people saying, is San Francisco on its way back or not, or can it come back? Now, the proof is in the pudding. We are a city on the rise, and it's working. Yeah,
it's funny. 10 years ago, I remember talking to a lot of my friends from all across the country, and it wasn't all positive, their experience as far as the streets and everything else. And this year, it's been all positive. Is that the kind of feedback you're getting as well?
I'm getting a lot of good feedback. I am our toughest critic, and so I'm still walking the streets. I did it this morning. I know we still have challenges, but as every city does, but I'm only the mayor of San Francisco, so I'm always going to want to make this city safer and better. But I'm feeling very positive about our first year, and I think everybody is seeing what you just mentioned and saying, okay, there's all this narrative out there, but I come to San Francisco and, yeah, that's right. This city, when we're at our best, is the greatest city in the world.
I got to tell you, when I found out you were running for mayor, I thought, man, I think he would make a really good mayor, but I saw those early polls, and I was like, oh, man, apparently I'm the only one who thinks so.
You were one of 5 or 6 people, yeah. You're the 6th person. I've been saying 5, but thank you. I didn't know you thought I could do it.
I had a lot of confidence in you. How much did that experience of being the chair of that committee, did that kind of lead to what we're seeing now with you as mayor of San Francisco?
I mean, I learned a lot. Jed York and Mayor Ed Lee asked me to chair that bid, and they put a lot of faith in me, and we delivered, I think, a world-class event. I learned how to juggle many different things. I was still running Tipping Point at the time, so it was sort of like adding a second full-time job. And but I loved the experience. I got to meet people and work with people throughout the Bay Area, just like I'm doing now. And you know, every day there's something new. And as mayor, every day there is definitely something new.
We've talked about the impact of the Super Bowl on San Francisco, but there was an event Thursday night at the Palace of Fine Arts, the NFL Honors, where a guy who has become synonymous with San Francisco, Roger Craig, gets his due as elected into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. How exciting is that to have a San Francisco 49er recognized when the Super Bowl is here?
He redefined the role. I mean, Christian McCaffrey is our modern day version of Roger Craig. Christian is a Hall of Famer in his own right too, but it's well past due. And I know the 49er faithful and the family and Jed and Eddie DeBartolo, like it's just a great moment. I saw Ronnie. I actually heard about this news a little before it came out, and I was able to say congratulations to Roger in person. Ronnie knocked on his door, and it's just it just cements that team. Not that they needed cementing, I guess, as just one of the greatest teams in sports history, not just NFL history. And so he deserves it. High-stepping Roger Craig. I loved watching him as a kid.
Was there a proclamation too that had to be kept under wraps because the word hadn't gotten out yet?
We did. We can break some news that we made it Roger Craig Day in San Francisco in honor of this pending Hall of Fame honor, and so we made it Roger Craig Day in San Francisco.
That was at the that was a couple weeks ago.
That was last week. That was last week. Yes.
Did you go to the restaurant?
I went to a little gathering of his former teammates. I just stopped in for a few minutes. Thanked Roger, Ronnie, and Joe Montana, and Steve Young, and oh my God, who else was there?
Everybody, right?
There was a lot of
Carmen
people.
Policy.
Carmen and Eddie DeBartolo is just I mean, what an incredible owner.
From a guy who, wasn't necessarily, on the inside there of the 49ers, and you get led into that room and you see the expressions on faces, you see the joy, you see how those guys interact. What was that like?
It's like a family, and it's it's something. I've talked a lot about this with Jed before, and how you treat your players is everything. And times are a little different now. It's a different league than it was back then, but you could see the emotion in the room. You could see Eddie DeBartolo's emotion. You could see Ronnie and Joe and Steve's just being like so grateful that Roger joined them. I think Eric Wright was also there, and so I mean, as a lifelong Niner fan, to walk into that room, I was, I did not belong. I was not worthy of being in that room. But I had a moment where I was like, this is pretty special. And they all, for themselves, it was special. And, one thing I said to all of them is that in the early 80s, that team lifted San Francisco up. San Francisco had gone through tough times with the assassination of our mayor and then Dianne Feinstein taking on mayor. But that was
the AIDS epidemic.
The AIDS epidemic, everything. And we, as a city, rallied around the Niners. And I said the team again is lifting San Francisco up. This run that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch and Jed and the team, and it was an amazing season. By all accounts, like we did not belong with all of those injuries, and yet we persevered, and it lifted our city again this year. And so I think sports has this power to unite, and the Niners have always been that for San Francisco.
How does the city of San Francisco stay connected to the 49ers? Still the San Francisco 49ers, but they're in Santa Clara. So what's that juggling act, or what do you?
I think we've juggled it quite well. I think you walk down the streets. I mean, I was out at the light show that the NFL put on at the Ferry Building. You all should check it out between 6:30 and 11. Every half hour, the Niners won the vote, and every time last night. There are so many Niners fans here. I mean, from all over. And then when we go on the road, it's Levi's South in LA at SoFi, right?
That's why they don't want to play the 49ers there, and they're going to Australia to play them.
So, I mean, that kind of thing. We travel everywhere around and we're still Niners, ride or die, Niners faithful to the end here in San Francisco. It is a juggling act, but we need to, this is how it is, and we got to work with it, and hopefully they're still part of it. The Niners are hosting a ton of events. Jed's hosting, with BAHC, the Bay Area Host Committee, 3 parties this week, and I know the Niners remain committed to our city.
So we're getting late in the week. The Super Bowl is Sunday at Santa Clara at Levi's Stadium. At what point do you just kind of go, dust off your hands and you go, San Francisco has done its job, now it's on you, Santa Clara?
Well, listen, I've been on the phone with the mayor of Santa Clara, Mayor Mahan in San Jose, Mayor Lee. We're all having great events. This is a region-wide effort. I'm proud of the partnership that we've had. I will not rest until, in terms of Super Bowl, until Monday morning when we do the handoff ceremony back here at Moscone. So, as I said to you off air, I never dust my hands of anything. I'm like, okay, what's next? How can we continue to improve as a city? But it's been a good week so far. I just want everybody to stay safe, have fun Friday and Saturday night, and let's have a great game on Sunday.